Some days later, I spot Rin and Sai standing together in front of the gallery as I walk down the street towards the gallery. They seem to be talking to each other while Sai has a smoke. Good afternoon. I say this, even though it's not really afternoon anymore. I came a bit later than usual since I got caught up doing homework. It's gonna be dark soon. Hello there, Hisao. Come to visit the little kitten again? Rin makes a face at the nickname. I guess she doesn't like it. Ironically, the way she wrinkles her nose like that really does make her look a little bit like a cat. Hello. Sai turns back to Rin to continue the conversation they were having. So in other words, everything is going well enough? Rin makes a difficult expression and turns her face away from me for some reason. It's difficult. It's like I'm missing something. But I will do it. Work hard and it'll be fine. I'm gonna have to start working on my part of the preparations. I need to do a sales catalog, invitations, decorations, advertisements, and so on. You need the names for your works, and we also need to think up the general theme for the exhibition. I don't have anything like that. I'm not very good with words, so I don't use them. If I can't not use them, I mean, sometimes I have to, but I think this is not a time like that at all. Don't like naming your works? I don't like it. I have the same problem. That's why I just call them whatever the day I made them on is. That's basically what I do. I guess it's hard to come up with a name for something like this. Rin shakes her head vehemently, whatever. I know the word. It's not like that. It's like if I paint a cloud and call it an octopus, people will think about it differently than if I paint a cloud and call it the end of the world. That's actually accurate. The name will make you start to realize you're supposed to be thinking about something in a very specific way. Every name is wrong. Nothing ever explains what I feel like when I make a painting. It's not a word thing. The only thing would be to come up with new words for everything, but, would it help at all? No, I don't think so. Then the paintings would just go with are just unnamed one, and so on. It's a bit inconvenient, but that's no good. Unnamed means that you just didn't come up with a good name. And unnamed is a name, like that Greek guy with the sheep and all. Sai thinks about this for a while, furrowing her brow as she keeps looking at Rin's serious face. So you're saying your artwork should be completely without labels? I think that's what I'm saying. Sai lets out a dry laugh, the kind old ladies who smoke too much always seem to end up with. Let's hope your art will never end up in a museum. The curators would explode. She takes a contemplative poof of her sagarat, which is worn down not much more than a butt. Then she drops it off into an ashtray affixed to the wall next to the door. Then again, it could work. What do you mean? The namelessness, the rejection of labels, it works. It's a good unifying theme and something people can grasp onto easily, less for a lot of room for interpretation. It gives a good impression. Think about it. All sorts of associations could be made, starting from identity and self-definition, all the way to whatever you want to think about. You could call your exhibition Nameless and build it on that theme. How's that sound? Rin thinks about this for a while. I'm not sure how Sai managed to get so fired up by Rin's reluctance to apply names to her works. It feels like she might be extrapolating too much, but it's a pretty impressive sounding idea. I don't think it's a bad idea. For what it's worth, I have to say it sounds pretty good to me too. Sai reaches into her pocket for another cigarette, lighting it with a neon green butane lighter. Butane, not butane, but you know what I mean. Her forehead wrinkles and she rubs it as she appears to furiously think more on this idea. She doesn't say a word for a little bit, but every now and then she takes a sharp drag from the cigarette. Yeah, I think this would work out pretty nicely. I'm gonna take this as the starting point and work from there. I'm gonna work on this. You go back upstairs and try to find your missing ingredient. And I'm sure it'll come to you sooner or later. Rin doesn't reply, so Sai takes one last long puff from her cigarette and drops it on the tray to join with others of its kind. The gallery owner turns to head back inside, but is stopped by Rin just as she reaches from the door handle. Sai? What is it, kitten? Don't know how I feel about that. Can I have some cigarettes? She looks at Rin incredulously, clearly not having expected such a direct request. Not that I did either. Don't tell your teacher. Why would you do that? She stuffs the packet in Rin's pocket along with the neon green lighter. Okay, well, I'm less than enthusiastic about the implications of that. The day is already folding into dusk when we climb up the dark stairs leading up to what is now basically Rin's workshop. As we go inside, Rin doesn't seem to be able to settle down. She keeps pacing around the room like a caged animal looking through the skylight at the burgundy-colored dusk. The last light of the sun's advance across the sky reflects from the clouds floating over the town, filling every corner of the workshop with blazing orange light as my anxiety and discomfort reach an all-time high. So, painting is going well? She blinks and relaxes her muscles. Didn't even realize how tensed up she was until now. Not really. I haven't painted in 3 days. I'm going in squares, circles. If you say so. I tried doing things a bit differently, but it doesn't work. And now the old way doesn't work either. I need something more. It's not enough like this. Ren's response gives me pause, since as usual, I can't exactly understand what she means. Although really, I shouldn't have expected anything else. She either says nothing at all, or too much. Trying to comprehend and follow her train of thought, it feels like wading through the jungles of Borneo equipped with a wooden spoon and a map of Hokkaido. Wow. That's a really nice way of framing it, I feel. It's annoying how her thoughts are both laid out in plain sight and hidden from view every time she opens her mouth. What more? You said that to Sai as well. A missing ingredient? I think I have to destroy myself? Well, I don't like that idea at all, especially with the music that's playing. Okay, that sounds unnecessarily grim. What do you mean? Rin's shoulders slump and she turns to face me directly. I have to change. I've tried, but this is not enough yet. I have to destroy myself first, I think. Just to be clear, you are speaking metaphorically, right? Like learning to paint from scratch again, or whatever, so to speak? She shrugs her shoulders as if there's no difference. There is no difference. So you're going to start by smoking a cigarette? For inspiration? Maybe. I've never tried this before. Have you? No, can't say I have. Still, I'm not really sure if having a smoke is the best starting point. She responds to my words with another nonchalant shrug. I open the cigarette pack and look inside. It's almost full. Smoking is bad for you, but that's the idea here, I guess? Yes, I need to do something. I want to paint. I need something more. So, okay, fine. What's after smoking a cigarette, then? How do you intend to destroy yourself? Rin thinks for a split second, averting her gaze like she does when she doesn't want to get distracted. I don't know yet. I'll decide later. If this is your starting point, I don't really like the idea of where the end goalposts are. Rin bends down to pick up a cigarette from the end. She raises her head with one between her lips and turns to me, eyebrows curved into 2 arcs, challenging me to respond. I don't like this at all. With a sigh of resignation, I pick up the lighter and rise it to meet the cigarette. I can feel Rin's warm breath against my quivering hand. I don't know if this was a good idea, Hisao. Did I make a bad decision somewhere down the line? I feel like I might have. Oh, no. The flame flickers to life on the third strike of the flint, and I try to aim the dancing fire at the end of the cigarette. An amber-colored glow spreads into the wrapping paper and tobacco as Rin inhales the first smoke. It seems to relax her significantly. Okay. To my surprise, she doesn't cough, despite telling me that she's a first-timer. Rin seems to remember that it's hard to blow the smoke out without spitting the cigarette out as well. She quickly sits down on the floor, bringing her foot to her lips like a circus contortionist, and expertly picks the filter between 2 toes. I get down on the floor as well, as we both lie down almost simultaneously, while Ren blows a steady stream of smoke towards the dim sky beyond the glass of the skylight, looking after it thoughtfully. The thin haze of steely blue smoke slithers towards the ceiling in fish-like movements. It billows in the stagnant air of the workshop, twisting and turning around its own immaterial body until it dissipates in thin air. What's the word for smoke that looks like that? There is no word for that. We should maybe come up with one. Maybe. Ren takes another quick, experimental drag. It's not very tasty. Feels like inhaling the dust lying on top of a forgotten book about the memories of a dead kingdom. Do you want to try? My hesitation unintentionally surfaces again, making me freeze in the face of a rather trivial and commonplace challenge. Ren's ability to take everything so coolly is something I'm a bit jealous of. Hisao, that doesn't sound like a great idea at all. Granted, you don't have a lung problem, you have a heart problem, but still, it doesn't seem well advised. Taking it from her, I have a drag on it, fighting against a sudden choking feeling in my lungs as they fill with smoke. To my embarrassment, I fail, wheezing and hacking my lungs out. I feel flustered, but maybe I haven't lost too much face in Ren's eyes. It's less unpleasant on the second try, but I still pass the cigarette back to Ren. We're like a pair of budding delinquents in middle school, sneaking their first smoke out of sight of the teachers and parents. Well, I suppose it's not like that. It's exactly what we are. After a while, the cigarette has shrunk down most of the way down to the filter. Rin is still looking quietly out of the skylight. With her looking out there, the silence inside the workshop seems to deepen even more. Are the cogs of creativity turning behind those eyes right now? Do another one. Okay, was kind of hoping that wasn't going to be a thing. I mechanically pick another cigarette, light it, and place it on Ren's lips. She takes a few quick puffs and moves it awkwardly around her with her lips. Not understanding her garbled words, I glance over at Rin. It looks like she's having trouble with the cigarette. I pick the cigarette from her lips and place it on mine, abandoning common sense and good reason while I do so. The first one should have been enough for me, but I take another drag, still coughing a little at the unpleasant sensation of smoke invading my respiratory organs. It's almost as if that's not something you're supposed to, do. But, I mean, that's already a point. I don't need to get on anybody's case for that at this point. You all know that. I remember doing something like this before. So you have smoked? Doesn't look like it, though. Nah, lying on my back looking at the sky with you. Oh. The sky on the other side of the glass is slowly growing darker. It's unreachably high, even if the shimmering smoke seems to make it closer. I return the cigarette back to Rin's mouth. It feels bad somehow. The space between us, less than arm's reach, is still there. It's the distance between us, the immeasurably wide chasm of thoughts and feelings that separate us with graver certainty than even light years of physical distance could. By saying the right words, there might be a way to make that chasm narrower. Or chasm. Even if it's just a little. I tried to cross that gap with one big step, but Rin turned me back. I glanced at her out of the corner of my eye. Rin is staring upward through the smoke-filled ceiling and the skylight of the darkening sky above us. It's almost like she's sleeping, even though I know she isn't. Her eyes are open, as is her mouth. I take the cigarette from Rin before it falls on her cheek. She doesn't react to my touch in any way. So this is where we are now. I wonder if we could ever be closer than this. I take a drag of the cigarette and blow a thin stream of smoke upwards. These indirect kisses are the only thing that connect us right now. The taste of Rin's lips on the filter mixed with the ashen taste of the smoke. Her soft lips against my fingers as I press the cigarette on her mouth as if she were placing kisses on them. The ash softly falling on the floor between us like snow. As the second cigarette is being finished off, I'm already lighting the third one. The only thing breaking the stillness of the workshop is the inaudible sound of smoke floating towards the first stars blinking overhead. Light nausea hits me on the fourth or fifth cigarette, as it's typically known to do. Before long, the shape of the waxing moon appears in the skylight, sending her wane? Light down on us. It'll be a full moon in a few days. It'd be nice to be able to fly. I flinch after realizing it was my own voice that gave birth to that remark. The damn child of the almost inhibiting smoke and tiredness. You can't? You can. Sometimes I feel like it. Like I can do anything. I wish I felt like that too sometimes. Once she hears the bitterness seeping into my words, the vicious cycle of unrequited feelings is poisoning me even now. I try to push the grim thoughts aside. My efforts meet with little success as my mind keeps swirling around what-ifs and if-onlys. Watching the moon slowly creeping higher, I realize that a long time has passed since I came here. It sobers me somewhat, but also reminds me of the sad status quo we're in now. It's late. I'd better get back to the school. I stand up to leave, but Rin doesn't show any signs of rising up from the floor. She lies inanimate, as though all life had been sapped from her. Little wisps of smoke float about her, memories of the cigarette we shared. I grasp by her short and thin arm and try to pull her up. To my surprise, she complies and stands up with some help from me. I notice how little Rin weighs, as she were made of feathers. You gonna stay here overnight? I have to. I haven't painted much in 3 days. I have to find out how I can start painting. Maybe the smoke helps. Just take a break? That's no good. I have to do it. If I can't paint anymore, I'll be destroyed for real. Maybe you're just burned out. You've been working pretty hard. That would be bad. I wonder if this is it for me. I wanted to see how far I can go. Maybe this is it. The end. You just have artist block. It's not a big deal. That's the word for when you can't paint, right? I've had that before. Never like this, though. I pick up a brush, then I want to put it down right away. And then I do. 3 days, it's like I've forgotten how to paint. I don't think that was possible. Like, more impossible than Emmy growing wings and a tail. Although that would be pretty dope, let's not be lying to ourselves. You need a break. I mean, I get that you're trying to go deeper inside yourself for your paintings, but it's really not that healthy to stay inside your own head for so long. I glance at the night sky visible through the window. A couple of stars are weakly twinkling above the city. They remind me of something I used to do once upon a time. It feels so horribly long ago. Come on, let's go outside. Where? Just for a walk. I'll show you my secret place. I don't know if it works in this town, but we can try. In any case, you need a break, and probably something to eat. Come on. You need to get your thoughts away from this for a while. When they're troubled, most people escape from their unhappy lives into a world of fantasy. I did that before and still do today, reading books endlessly, immersing myself in their world rather than my own. Rin's escape should be the other way around, though. Out of her inner world and into the real. Rin doesn't look happy about this, but I ignore her. At least she's somewhat cooperative, walking after me as we head down the stairs and then down the sidewalk. Night has fallen upon the town. It's a gentle summer night, smelling of flowers and hot asphalt. The sunlight is replaced by shining neon colors and bland yellow streetlights. The air is easy to breathe, as if the air pressure was noticeably lighter than usual. Or maybe just, comparatively cleaner air just feels that much better. Who knows? The feeling of daytime in the hot summer has lasted long into the evening and night. I grab Rin by her sleeve like I've seen Emmy do, and to my surprise, she obediently follows. The pale streetlights fight against the all-enveloping darkness as we walk together, the guide and the guided, although neither knows the destination. But it doesn't matter. This is the one moment where the usual silences that have become a ritual between me and Rin at least fit perfectly. We walk side by side, choosing directions on impulse or inspiration. Sometimes we find ourselves back at a street we'd already seen once or twice. Sometimes we find new streets. All of them look asleep. Rin doesn't ask where we're going. Maybe she doesn't care. Maybe she knows I don't have an answer. The silence of the night isn't scary. After all, the lights drive most of it away. The air grows cooler as the moon progresses along its journey in the cloudless sky. Few cars roam the streets at this hour, and even fewer people are on the sidewalk. The apparent lack of nocturnal life is somehow befitting of this place. There are round-the-clock shops and cafes, sure, but the atmosphere is like the town itself is slumbering. A town that sleeps 8 hours a day. The city I grew up in, bathed in the electric glow of a million light bulbs, never slept. I've seen it for myself. It's not the first time I've done this. It happened one of the first times I was home alone. Both of my parents had business trips that neither could cancel, so they deemed me old enough to survive 2 days on my own. Their misplaced trust in me did not go to waste as I proceeded to spend the entire night walking around the city. Even afterward, I couldn't say what made me stay downtown longer than I intended after school. I didn't feel like going home, so I stayed through the evening and eventually through the entire night. I walked long, concentrated circles around a landmark chosen at random. For some reason, the nighttime city felt fascinating, so I walked its streets. At every intersection, it was possible to choose your direction at random because they all led nowhere. The aimless wandering made me see things differently. I hope it'll do the same for Rin. We stop to buy some hot coffee and snacks from a vending machine and then locate a bench where we sit down to eat. There's no time in the night of the town, so we spend an unknown There is no time in the night of the town, so we spend an unknown amount of it just sitting there, observing the stillness of the unusually vivid townscape. Still, it's getting very late, and soon it'll be getting very early. So is this it? Hearing Rin's voice surprises me. She doesn't sound bored. Rather, her tone is inquisitive, uncertain as to why I dragged her out here, yet curious to find out the answer. Yeah. Have you ever been out all night? It's like a different world. The remark sends her thinking for a while, looking around as she was looking for something. The wisps of light reflecting from the corners of her eyes are suddenly very sharp. It's not a different world. It's the same. Just asleep. What do you think the town is dreaming of? Maybe something like car sheep or building sheep? Why are dreams always about sheep? I've never seen a sheep-related dream that I can remember. Do different towns dream of different things? Probably. How could they not? I answer half jokingly, half spurring her on. For the first time tonight, it seems like a bit of Rin's life has returned to her, so that's nice. She doesn't continue her list of rhetorical questions, though. Instead, she leans back a little and looks up at the moon traveling above the town. The cool breeze blowing between the buildings seems to steal the conversation away before it even really begins. It's too bad. It looked like Rin would get out of her blue mood. I wish I could somehow know the right things to say, but I realize I can't do that the way I am now. I'm too far apart from Rin. I haven't really managed to crack her open. She's just too complicated. It's like she's open to everything, equally disinterested in everything from the outset. In truth, she's locked tighter than anyone else I know, even myself. Sometimes she locks herself inside that inner world, shutting everything else out. At other times, her thoughts flow freely from her mind, but not organized in any fashion that would make them intelligible to the rest of the world. What comes out in the form of paintings, I can't interpret. To me, it's just a sea of colors and shapes, not a message. She's too far away. I know now it was a bad idea to try to reach for her in the way I did, but I can't help but liking her. I look at the fingers of my right hand, trying to remember what Rin's lips felt like against them. Do you ever feel like you're trying to reach out for something that's impossible to reach? Rin turns her head to gaze to me, tilting her head quizzically. I wonder if she understands the meaning of my own rhetorical question or not. Either way, I like how I can manage to catch her attention just by speaking aloud nowadays. All the time. At least I think so. That's what painting feels like, a lot of the time. Or all the time. I don't know. Sometimes I get the feeling that I can really paint what I want. Sometimes it feels like it's another shadow of me, like a mirror that doesn't work right. Like talking? Maybe. When I was little, I didn't really have friends. Maybe it's the same now. The only things I liked were pens and paints. They were the only things that understood me. Now it feels like it's going away too. Change really is a scary thing. I wish I could understand you. She looks at me melancholically, roused by my thoughts materializing as words spoken aloud. Me too. Yeah, I think I might have been onto something. Whether she meant she wished for me to understand her to understand me, or her to understand herself, I never ask, nor do I find out. I see her eyes searching for mine, serious and cryptic as they are. I'm not getting any explanation from there. Don't worry about it. I will. Small hints of a smile are wavering on her lips. When she's like this, it makes me feel that maybe there's hope for us. We get along so well for being so different. It's just that we never really get along precisely because we are so different. Maybe it was Rin's passionate approach to her own art exhibition, or perhaps my own careless words. But last week was different from usual. The small friction between us seems to be somewhat volatile, but at least now we seem to be back to normal, relatively speaking. We stand up from the bench and pick yet another direction in which to go. The wee hours of night slowly pass by as we measure the streets of the town one step at a time. We're finally at ease, not minding the rare lone passerby, the eerie darkness, each other, ourselves. Rin's step seems lighter, like the heavy air around her is letting go a little. Makes me feel happy. We don't talk, save for the single remarks that are spoken into the night of the town and never answered. The details jump into the eye instead of being the usual blur they are during the day. As the sky above the town changes from deep dark blue to gray, I know that our night is soon ending. It's almost morning. Rin looks up too and nods at me. It's true, the coming light of morning is creeping through the sky, climbing higher by the minute. It feels surreal. The sun won't come up for a while, but I get the feeling that at the end of night really is here and now. Should we head back? Rin nods again, twice her hair waving in the breeze that seems to be heralding the coming dawn. Abruptly, she takes off, taking the lead in this walkabout on which I brought her. It seems she really is in a better mood. This, too, makes me feel happy. Rin's navigational skills are probably not much better than mine, but we eventually find ourselves in front of Sai's place. I don't know if this was any help. I did this once before, but it was more because of a stupid impulse, or maybe a restlessness back then. Maybe this was a silly idea and didn't really help you at all. She just nods as an answer. So, do you know how you're going to destroy yourself now? I have some ideas. I don't want to see you for a while. Don't come and see me. Do something else. Her ultimatum catches me completely off guard. What the hell? What's that about? You said before that you didn't mind. I mind now. It's just for a while. I have to do this alone. I don't like that. Why? I don't want to go like this. Why? I just don't want to feel this distance between you and me. She tilts her head like a bird, her eyes narrowing a little as she thinks. Oh boy, 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 oh boy. Okay, I am... okay, alright, just keep going, just keep going. Then you can touch me? What? You can touch me if you want. You'd feel better, right? I don't know. Try. Where do you want me to touch you? No boobs or left ear. Other than that, you can decide. One of those makes sense. Fine. I raise my hand hesitantly, even though I don't know why I'm actually doing this. Her eyes tell me that she's not going to explain. 1,000 thoughts race through my head as I slowly bring my hand closer to Rin's face and press 3 fingers against her pale cheek. Rin feels soft and cold. She closes her eyes on contact and visibly relaxes. I can feel her soft breathing, her muscles releasing tensions as my fingertips caress her cheek. She doesn't rest her head against my palm or anything else you'd expect a girl to do in this sort of situation. In fact, she hasn't reacted at all, save for those now shut eyes. Once I withdraw my hand, she opens them again. It might just be an illusion created by the timid morning sunlight playing with my eyes, but Rin looks like she's holding back a smile. This is the problem with our relationship. Half the time I have no idea what's going on, and the other half I just fail to understand why things are going on like they are. As usual, I'm not going to get an explanation. Rin merely takes a step towards the door. See you later. Then she disappears from my reach for an undefined period of time. Well, this is altogether slightly unnerving, if I'm being honest with you. I hold true to my promise of honoring Rin's request, even if it's against my own will. I try to redirect my focus into my studies, but end up zoning out during classes and doing only the minimum amount of work required. Still, I start looking into my post-high school options a bit more seriously. I pore over university brochures and various career paths. I'm good at studying, so I want to go to a university. I'm pretty sure I could get into a pretty decent one, too. The only problem is deciding which subject would be the best. Kenji ridicules me about subjecting myself to the control of feminist teachers when I tell him about trying to get into a university. I don't ask him about what he wants to do in the future, because, quite frankly, I don't actually want to know. Also, wow, it's interesting the game didn't actually have me have the discussion with him. Come to think of it, it feels like it's been a long time since I've run into that guy. I'm okay with it, mind you, but dang, the reservation. I wonder what Rin thinks of her own future. I bet she's not as lost as I am. I wonder. And if she is, it's probably in some completely different way. I feel somewhat disappointed in finding out that I can't stop thinking about her. Her request makes me worry about her and think about her more than I did when I could go and see her when I wanted. It bothers me that I can't. As expected, I eventually crack. Late one afternoon, I get on the bus heading downtown. I try to avoid explaining to myself exactly why I'm doing this and keep thinking about other things for the entire duration of the trip. After a 5-minute walk, I'm standing in front of the gallery. I walk past it to the door of the workshop, but at the last moment I lose my courage and continue all the way to the next corner, at which point I turn back. Will Rin hate me if I go and see her? I wonder what she's like when she's angry. I've never seen her angry. The worst thing would be if I actually ruined something by going to see her, like she simply seemed to imply would happen. But there's no way that can be true, can there? It's just one of her quirks. I walk back down the street and end up passing the workshop door for the second time. Only this time I continue all the way to the gallery. Its owner is standing just outside the door watching me. I thought that was you. What are you doing? I really don't want to explain the circumstances between Rin and me, so I get flustered and end up mumbling something unclear. She takes stock of me and then sighs deeply, looking wryly amused somehow. I hope she didn't misunderstand. Would you like to come in? Your teacher's visiting. And we're discussing Rin's exhibition. Thanks for the invitation, but I really should. Don't be shy now, come on in. I follow Sai inside, finding that our art teacher is indeed in there. Nomiya is standing at the big desk, contemplating what looks like an invitation card. Look what the cat dragged in. Nakai! Hello there, my boy! Doesn't seem to be all that fazed by my appearance. How do you like the invitations? Huh. I glance at them quickly. They're kind of fancy with one of Rin's paintings printed on the front cover in shiny gold writing. Look fine to me. They're magnificent! I absolutely love the design. And the embossed gold lettering? Fabulous. Good print work, too. You have to tell me where you get these done. What does Rin think? I haven't asked. She said she'd be fine with my decision anyway. Nomiya laughs boisterously, still turning the gold-lettered card in his hands. That's my girl. She wants to focus on the essentials only. Good for her. I guess that's one way to interpret it. Her work is progressing well, too. It seems she's found new inspiration. I think she's been sort of weird lately. It's like she's wrestling with something. With herself, probably, and it makes her confused. She said she had a hard time painting the last time I saw her. It seems to be resolved now, however. You know, she practically lives up there now, right? Sai makes a simple gesture with her hand as if sweeping my question aside. I also can't help but notice that even though they were mentioned, Rin has parents. I do wonder what they feel about this. The fact that I'm not seeing or hearing anything is putting some interesting thoughts in my head. Sure. Don't you think that's weird? Maybe it is. Still, I think she understands how big an opportunity this is and is going for it full throttle. Is it really that big? Nomiya sets the card down and brushes some imaginary dust off his jacket. Well, how should I put it? There are times in everyone's lives where something really big washes over you and changes you forever. This could be just that moment for Tezuka. I see. Yeah, I think I've had something like that happen to me. I'm referring to the incident that brought me to Yamaku. Neither of the two adults comment on that, however. It might well be that everyone has, or will. At any rate, surrendering oneself to art is a big decision, and a thorny path too. Quite thorny indeed. Suzuka's almost everything one needs, but whether she has the will to pull through, that's a different question. I should know that best. I tried going down that path too, but turned away in the end. I don't understand what he's trying to say. I see. Is that why you're being so supportive of Rin? Why did you turn away from me? I feel like I have my suspicions about why he's being so supportive. I don't want to make assumptions. Let's see. Let's just create a new one there. Okay. So I don't think I need to actually ask that specifically. I think this might actually give me some decent information. I'm going to ask this. Why did you stop exactly? You've mentioned that before. Oh, that's a long story. Nomiya throws a sideways glance at the gallery owner who has drawn her mouth into a thin straight line. I've had a life-changing experience like that, even though I didn't realize it until later. Did I tell you that Sai and I had known each other for a long time? Started at the same school. It's been... Goodness, how long has it been, really? Please don't count the years, Shinichi. Maybe you're right. At any rate, when we were in school, we had this, friend, I should say. We were in the same program, and I think he met Sai at some party. I got to know Sai through him, in fact. He was a spectacular artist, much like Suzuka. Great talent despite the young age. He easily left the rest of us in his dust. We were good friends, he and I, but there were things that created friction in the friendship. It felt like I was watching him from afar. Yeah. You weren't the only one. Okay. I feel like this was a good discussion to have. This is applicable. Hello. Nomiya coughs, looking embarrassed. Wait. Oh, okay. At any rate, he, ended up taking his own life. Oh, God. Such a tragedy. In retrospect, that was what made me choose a career as a teacher in the end. I never was that brilliant, nor that passionate. I desperately wanted to be a career artist, but I wasn't suited for that. You were good enough. Perhaps I would have been, but this is what I ended up with. I just didn't have the drive after he was gone. I'm fond of kids and enjoy all forms of art, so it felt rather natural to take this path in life. But I think all that history with that friend of ours was the key thing, as sad as it was. A turning point, as they say. Sai stands up and digs in the pocket of her jacket for a cigarette and lighter. Her hands are shaking. I'm going out for a smoke. I get the impression that maybe it hit her a little harder than it hit this dude. Wordlessly, Nomiya and I both decide to follow her after a moment. It's already dark outside. Sai is standing with her back to us, taking sharp occasional drags of her cigarette. Its weak amber glow illuminates her face, framing her sharp jawline. Well, at least the game noted it too. Maybe it's best to call it a night. I can give you a lift back to school if you want, Nakai. You're not going anywhere, Shinichi. I need a drink. We're going to that place at the corner. The teacher looks at the old lady and then shrugs at me apologetically. It's no problem. I'll just catch the bus back. I'm headed upstairs to see if Ren will come back to school with me anyway. I think she's been staying overnight here too often lately. Sai locks the front door of the gallery and links arms with the old art teacher. I feel strange looking at them. I wonder what it feels like to have friends who have been with you, friends who have been with you for decades, for most of your life. I can't imagine it. The two of them start making their way down the streets towards the bar at the corner. So I quickly head upstairs to the workshop door, ready to get to what I originally came here for. Things are going to go absolutely horribly. I feel it deep down in my guts. I climb upstairs and enter carefully. The room is dark because of the quickly falling night, but I can see Ren, or rather her silhouette, sitting on the floor. So she's getting her inspiration back, like Sai said, and moved the easel to painting on the floor. Before I managed 5 steps, I stopped frozen in my tracks. The ironic realization that human cognitive ability is commendable echoes through my mind. From a mere movement of her shadow, it took me a fraction of a second to realize something is awry. Oh no. Process what I'm seeing, formulate the answer, and blush all the way up to the tips of my ears. Excuse me? Rin is sitting on the floor with her legs under her. Oh. Okay. Okay. Sure. She moves in rhythmic motions back and forth, slowly grinding herself against herself. Her breathing is so heavy that it's almost visible in the dim light. It's the heavy panting of one who doesn't have the option of breathing gracefully. Interesting that this isn't censored. I guess you're not seeing anything, and words are words. Her hips mirror shadows against the dim light shining in her form from above are swinging circularly way over and over again. She hasn't noticed me, so engrossed she is in her activity. The deadlock solves itself before I get a chance to think of what to do next. Something in the atmosphere of the room changes. A little thing, not consciously noticeable, but it changes. Perhaps a timid current from the open door, or a minute, I'm not even sure, change in air pressure, the sound of my breathing, even though I notice I haven't taken a breath for many, many seconds, the aura of my presence. That something catches Rin's senses. She stops moving, freezes, and slowly turns to the door. I imagine, not see, the horror on her face, like a fawn's eyes staring at a hunter. I wonder if Rin can see my expression, but at least she doesn't have the strength or the spirit to look straight in my eyes. So she droops her chin against her chest, letting her mess of a hair hide her face from me even further. I feel like I should either walk out or walk to her, but I can't do either. I told you to stay away. That you did. Her words are defeated, painful, as if she were suffering. Rin doesn't have anything other than her shirt on. You can see the last wisps of the twilight against the pale of skin of her thighs and bottom. There's no way I can back off anymore. I lost a chance, so I do the next best thing. I quickly avert my gaze, even though Rin doesn't see what I'm looking at. I'm sorry. I didn't think. It's not like that. Her voice is raspy, shivering from held back tears or something else. She's shaking, looking like she's physically in pain. It's not like that. I had no idea what it really means to change, but I know now you have no idea what I've had to do. I now know you have no idea what I've had to do and all the things that pass through, and I think I forget. I really don't. They just build up inside and grow and grow and grow until they flow out like a flow of everything that has ever been wrong. I can't take it. I can't think of the things I want because there's only so many things that I can think of. 4, 6, 7 doesn't matter. It's never enough. I have to let this out. I have to destroy it, forget it, and nothing else. Rin is mumbling her words into the air more than talking to me. It's the rambling, ranting, raving speech of a lunatic, even and steady in tone, but taking the form of a never-ending stream of words almost simultaneously spawning from between her lips. It feels like she forgot it's me who is present, or that someone is actually present. Maybe she vaguely recognizes what is real and what is not. Maybe in her mind, I'm a voice inside her head. I look down at Rin's sorry figure, cowering on the floor with only the white shirt of her usual attire on. It neither preserves her modesty, that is gone, nor her body warmth that she doesn't seem to care about. She looks more broken than I imagined. A human person being capable of, and the hospital and school here have given me some real perspective on that. I remember the hazy blue smoke and myself wondering what Rin would do for the sake of art. The realization that Rin really is always serious hits me with its entire weight. She really and truly would destroy herself if her art required it. I thought she was so silly with her strange ways, talking about personal change as if it was something sudden and concrete like waking up. I had no idea. This is her, laid bare in front of my eyes in all possible meanings of the word. Complete isolation here on the top floor of the building, in this room in her mind. Day after day working on her paintings with no heed paid to anything else. Breaking herself to reach that which she wishes to reach. This obscene act that she does for reasons I'm not sure she herself understands. Why does she have to do this? I'm trying to connect the pieces, but I don't understand. I feel sad, scared, excited, disgusted, worried, and a number of emotions I can't remember the name of now. I feel conflicted. Yeah, I should go. I'm really sorry. It doesn't matter. My voice is dry and quiet, like sandpaper coming out of my throat. I really am sorry. Sorry for seeing this. I don't want to see Rin like this. All I can see is her sadness, her stress and despair. Is this what a limit means? How could Sai and Namiya let Rin go this far? Or is it me who's to blame? I almost walk out right there, but at the last moment I turn around, steel myself, and walk to Rin to crouch down behind her and lightly touch her forehead. She doesn't resist or react. I can't leave her like this. She's not well. She feels like she has a fever, freezing cold and burning hot at the same time. I wonder if she got sick from staying out all night with me back then. It seems she's prone to getting ill. There's a blanket on the couch, but I wrap my arms around Rin instead of fetching it. She does not resist my clumsy hug, only slumps her head lower, deepening the shadows, hiding her face from me. What are you doing? Nothing. I'm not embracing her out of love, nor out of forgiveness. For am I in love, or is she sorry? I just want to hug her. For a moment, the only sound in the room is her heavy breathing. My body warmth shared between two people is barely enough, but slowly, painfully, slowly, it spreads from me to her. The small warmth returning to Rin makes me more conscious of her body against mine. Even in the darkness, I can feel the fleeting scent of Rin's hair, the sweat on her skin, the dried paint stuck in her shirt. I feel the hardness of her bones and the softness of her flesh. Her heartbeats echoing mine, out of rhythm just like always. The hot blood rushing inside me reminds me why I said what I said back then. Why I came here even after that. Why I'm here tonight again. Why I'm hugging her now to keep her safe against the cold and the sadness. Rin has really grown on me inside my heart, claiming a small part of it as her own without even particularly trying. Rin. Even if she wanted to push me away, I can't help this feeling. Are you all right, Rin? I'm not. I think I broke. I painted some really good things. Incredible. But it hurt me. I can't handle this. Her voice cuts out as there are no more words for her to say. It's not an angry voice, nor a sad voice. It's a lifeless voice. I pet her head and shoulders, the physical equivalent of saying, there. It's not like I reassure her with the sweet nothings that people are supposed to say in this kind of situation. I'm not sure if she would even listen or be reassured. She didn't react much to the embrace either, as if she didn't care. Maybe she doesn't. At least she doesn't care if she looks sad or not. There are no facades, no attempts to explain herself, no faux happiness. Rin is honest. Isao. What is it? You're my friend, right? Right. Will you do me a favor? I can't fix this, but I'm not finished yet. Her dry voice is a mere whisper, but the strength, her last, is in it, delivering her meaning much more clearly than her words. Oh. I don't know if I would have picked up on that had the music not changed. I can feel Rin's heart beating against my chest like a scared little bird. Her entire body is shivering from her fever, from her fear, from her despair. My brain is fast becoming overloaded with the myriad of thoughts this encounter spawned, but I have to push them all inside. I snuggle my nose against her earlobe, which is soft and cold, and her hair, which smells good and tickles me. All right, I'll do it. I whisper in her ear, reassuringly, trying to make her calm down. It works at least halfway as Rin closes her eyes and leans against me as if searching comfort from my warmth. This is not something that friends should do. We can't be friends anymore? It's fine, don't worry about it. Just relax. Even though I said that, I'm on the verge of breaking myself. If I wasn't so nervous, I would laugh at my own nervousness. She wants to be comforted, and I want to comfort her. But in this way... my hand lower, touching the naked skin of her stomach, caressing Rin with my hand. Okay, how much of this am I going to have to read? Her muscles contract timidly, evading my touch, but soon they find their trust in me and relax. There it is. Okay. I feel like the context clues made it clear where that was going. Although I can't say with certainty whether or not that was a good idea. Maybe it's not my place to say. Rin gasps for breath like she's drowning, returning to reality because she has no other choice. Her entire body is still in the throes of the slowly dying moment. Pearls of sweat are glistening on her forehead. feeling my own heat inside of me, but now the spur of the moment is gone, and I don't know what to say to Rin, who is panting, hot, and ecstatic in my arms. Her shirt, wet with sweat, is glued to her back, revealing hints of her shoulder blades and waistline. She feels limp, weak, and exhausted. I reach out for the blanket and wrap it around her and me. Rin doesn't resist me. She's drained of all her strength. What will happen now? I don't know. Nothing, I suppose. You look tired. I am tired. Feels strange. Like I lost something. I mean, something else than my marital purity. Okay. I mean, yeah, alright. Don't say something like that. Neither of those things. I don't want to lose you. What does that mean? I'm not going anywhere. I'm afraid that you are. All the time. At that moment, I felt that it was not only Rin who lost something of hers. I felt like I was losing a part of myself. Or maybe all of me. But if you were to ask what it was that I lost, I couldn't say, because I had already forgotten it. I broke another promise by coming out with my honest feelings for Rin. That's 2 in one day. I hate the distance between you and me. So every time it gets a little bit closer, I become afraid of losing it. That's weird. I guess so. Do you mind if I sleep a little? No, I guess you don't. You like watching, don't you? She closes her eyes and swallows with a loud gulp, trying to relax herself, fighting against the urge to paint. Yes. Yes, I do. Rin moves her body in my arms, searching for a comfortable position in her own very uncomfortable position. She leans against me, closing her eyes, and lets out one long breath out before settling into a steady rhythm of sleep. With her last moment of awareness, she whispers something to me, but I can't hear it. Rin drifts deeper into sleep with a deep sigh that releases all remaining tension from her muscles. I try to shift around to place both of us more comfortably. It takes a while because I don't want to wake up Rin, even though she probably wouldn't, but eventually I find a position I am somewhat comfortable with. I lean against the soft cushions of the couch and breathe in all the cool air of the workshop. Rin's head rests against my chest as if it were listening to my heartbeats. Echoes of her dream ripple as small twitches on her face like a cat sleeping the mouse hunter's dream. The full moon, shining her pale light upon us from beyond the skylight, reflects from a blank canvas standing forgotten on the easel. Its whiteness is glowing against the dark night of the workshop. Wow, okay. Okay. Through the grogginess of a freshly awakened mind, I can observe my surroundings, only one thing at a time. The morning light shining from the skylight is bright and sky-colored. It reflects from the white walls and the colorful posters and paintings. I hope nobody at school realizes they spent the night here. They didn't find out the last time, so I'm feeling confident about my chances. My neck is stiff and my shoulders are hurting like hell from sleeping in an awkward position like that. I can't even remember when I fell asleep. Only the full moon and Rin warm against me. We sure do end up falling asleep with her leaning on us and on concrete a lot. I can't remember her waking up either, leaving my side, however she has. Rin is standing in the middle of the workshop looking as if she was lost. She's not looking at anything I can see, not doing anything, just standing there. She's managed to dress up a little by herself. A strange thing. I thought at least would be even impossible without hands. I get up to walk to her and patting her on the shoulder to get her attention. Hey. She flinches at the contact, and I've never seen Rin flinch. Oh boy. Rin looks a bit panicky, a bit anxious, a bit defensive, as if she was a completely different person last night. Perhaps she was. My heart drops straight to my stomach, full of liquid nitrogen. I'm sort of sorry. Why sorry? It wasn't very tactful of me, last night. But isn't that the sort of thing something you want? Because you like me? So blunt. Completely baffled by Rin's approach to this. No, even if it was, I think I'd prefer for things to go properly. Rin cocks her head, looking like she has no idea what I'm talking about. She still has this guarded feel about her, but nothing belays any real emotion. So you don't want to do that sort of thing? I didn't say that. So you do. I didn't say that either. Listen, it doesn't matter. I just don't think that it was the best thing I could have done in that situation, and I tried to apologize. I wonder for whose benefit I'm trying to come clear with these feelings. I don't even know why I'm feeling so terribly guilty. Maybe. I don't think it was a very good idea either. Probably. It's like you said, we're not like that. We are friends. It was a bad idea. Maybe you should forget about it, and I will too. I'm really good at forgetting things, so it should be alright with me. I can't do that. Why? Because I like you, that's why. I told you that you shouldn't talk about that. I don't agree. Besides, you brought it up yourself before. I held my hand up and pinched the bridge of my nose in frustration. I have no idea how to get Rin to understand. I hate that Rin can't clearly tell what she feels about anything. I hate that she's sending these confusing signals as if she's expecting me to read her mind. Do you hate me? She actually thinks about this for some time. I don't hate anything. I don't think I'm a hateful person. What am I to you? Help me understand. I try to sound as reasonable as I can, but I don't know if it'll help. Rationally thinking, this is the only way to get her to understand my point of view. Problem is, rationality never was a thing for Rin. It doesn't restrict her like it restricts me. It's not her driving force. It doesn't make her behave like a normal person. I can't. Same answer. I feel so powerless. I feel frustrated. Why? I don't think you'd understand. I'm not sure if I do. But I feel confident about this one, though. I need to, though. You can't explain. All right, but I need to know. I get the overwhelming impression that Hisao doesn't want to do anything stupid or idiotic or bad or malicious or anything of the sort. He just doesn't know what the situation is. I need to understand. I'm not going to give up, you know. Ren's shoulders slump and she frowns. I know. I do want to be there for you, but I can't do that unless I know how. Just let me do this thing the way I want. That's all. Fine. I don't care. You wanted to change? You wanted to destroy yourself? You want this exhibition more than anything, right? Yes. Okay, then do it. She doesn't respond or even show acknowledgement of understanding. I'm grinding my teeth together, frustrated beyond anything I thought possible. I want to grab Rin's shoulders and shake her until she comes to her senses. I look at her, and in that moment, I know with crystal clear certainty that there is nothing I can do for Rin. In other words, I know would reach her, but still, did I do it bad? I think that for whatever reason you think it's important that you go this way all the way to the end, even if it's not healthy for you on many different levels. But I'll have nothing to do with it. I can't accept being treated like this and not understanding the reasons for it. I'm finished here. Oh, no. The full weight of what I said sinks in the silent distance between us. Rin doesn't show any reaction, or even blinks her eyes. She just stares at or through me quietly. That's fine. Her voice is perfectly calm, emotionless, like an announcement at the 7:30 train will be 7 minutes late. With those words, Rin made her choice, and I made mine. If either of us secretly wanted to change our mind, it's too late for that now. I take a hard long look at Rin, hoping that it conveys my feelings. Without knowing whether it does or not, I leave the workshop for the last time, feeling empty and anxious like so many times before. I'm all kinds of fearful. I feel like that's the best word for this. I don't know where this is going, and it's deeply concerning to me. I make it in time for class, though not in time for breakfast. The classroom is bathing in the gentle light of the sun. I could really use literally anybody to talk to. Like, actually literally anybody right now. Misha, Muto, Kenji, I'd take anybody at this point. I just need a sounding board that isn't the art teacher. This means that it's going to be intolerably hot in the afternoon. For now, though, it's pleasant. I look at Misha and Shizune's animated discussion about whatever. Hanako staring out of the classroom window. Muto stumbling into the classroom 4 minutes late with no recollection of what he's supposed to be teaching today. I could never imagine dropping out of school just like that, even if only for a few weeks. On the other hand, Rin doesn't seem like to have a problem with the idea, or going through with it. Then again, somehow I got caught along in her insane isolation. If we ended up hurting each other. Or did we? Maybe only I got hurt. It takes me until late in the afternoon to realize that today is Monday. The art club meets today. Not just that, due to the exams, this will be the last art club meeting before summer vacation. Without Rin, it feels pretty pointless to go there, but I want to talk with the teacher. I guess this is all I'm getting. The meeting itself isn't noteworthy, just as my skills with watercolors are not worth mentioning. Namia tries to encourage and advise me without sounding too condescending, but he's not doing a very good job at it. And nothing else, joining the art club has taught me that I like art. It would be nice if I could actually try and make some art in the art club, though. After the fruits of everyone's labor had piled up into a neat stack on the teacher's desk, he clears his throat to give a little speech. That's it for the trimester, everyone! His voice is pretty loud and way too enthusiastic for it to be genuine. The next meeting is after summer vacation, on the Monday of the first week of the next term. I hope to see everyone there again. Have a nice vacation! Everyone wishes them a nice vacation back as they fly all out the door. I stay behind, waiting until the two of us are alone. It's almost dinner time, so I don't have to wait long. Namia is looking through the paintings, some of which are actually pretty nice. Rin might outclass everyone in this art club, but she isn't the only one with talent. Excuse me, teacher. What is it, Nakai? He raises his eyebrows questioningly, smiling widely. It's about Rin. No? Something wrong with Tezuka? No, but... I hesitate for a split second, not certain how to say what I want to say, giving Nomiya enough time to start babbling by himself. I saw her a few days ago when I was passing by at Sai's gallery. She said she'd gotten 1 or 2 more paintings done for the exhibition. I was quite pleased. She's a surprisingly hard worker. I always thought she was a bit lazy, doing what she wanted instead of assignments. Seems to have noticed my anxiety and realizes he is digressing, shutting up before finishing the thought. But you had something to talk about. What is it? I don't know. She feels detached from everything. Is it she can't she can't think of anything but this exhibition. Well, isn't that good? She's focused on her painting, as she should be. Yeah, but this is different. It's like she's obsessed. I went to see her, and... Have you been bothering her? Whoa. He cuts in before I finish saying what I meant to say, instantly looking quite irritated. No, I don't think so. I'm just concerned because she stopped coming to school completely. She feels strange, too. Stranger than usual, at the very least. Humbug. This is much more important for her than some lousy math class or physics or whatever. This is exactly why the school is so flexible, to give every student a chance to fulfill themselves. Tezuka is a painter, so she should paint, and have an exhibition. That's what artists do. She should be allowed to concentrate on that, not these other frivolous classes. She should be encouraged. If you think about it, it's really quite obvious. His counter-arguments are not very convincing, but I'm having a hard time trying to make any kind of rebuttal. My grudging silence is interpreted as assent, and Nomiya turns to shuffle the stack of turned-in assignments on his desk like a deck of cards. I have to say, while we're talking about Tezuka's exhibition, I'm very excited to see how it turns out. She's still so young, yet has such wonderful skill and style. He's talking to the air to relax the mood that got a bit too negative. I take it that you will be attending? Yeah, I guess so. Well, we'll meet there next. I take that as my cue to leave, and I do, although I'm not happy about it. My message didn't get through, to say the least. I don't know, I'm getting a really weird air about that guy. The day after that, all the missed opportunities and things I should have said come crashing down on me. There's nothing left to do afterwards but brood. It says a lot that the world turned grayscale. Second day, I begin to feel anxious. I start doubting my doubt, and it feels stupid, especially since I can't think of anything else about anything else than Rin. Third day, Japanese exam and world history exam. Great. The thing I hate most about her is that she can make me feel this awful even though I should be focusing on entirely different stuff right now. This is very negative. Fourth day, math exam. We have a math exam. It goes how it goes. I don't care. Fifth day. I feel like this particular story has, every story so far has kind of gone up, like with wholesome moments. Then it would crash down into Sad Town, and then by the end it goes back to being happy. With this one, I kind of started in like halfway to Happy Town. Just sort of a melancholic thing. It dived down into Sadlands, and we've been here for a while. What is the ending going to even be like? Assuming I even get a good one. I don't even know, man. 5th day. You know, ask me again if I will be attending the exhibition opening. I can't say no to him, even though I seriously want to. I just don't want to discuss with him anything Rin related, so it's just better to take the path of least resistance. On the 6th day, the day before the exhibition opening, I find Rin standing in the hallway in front of my room when I return to the dorms after dinner. Okay, I don't like the music! What are you doing here? My tone is angrier than I intended. I'm a little disappointed that I was unable to restrain myself, but it can't be helped. Rin just stands there like she just happened to coincidentally be standing around here when she had no business being. The way she reacts so coolly to everything annoys me now. This is not good. It's been 6 days, and the sight of hers has me boiling. She's haven't opened her mouth yet. Finished painting. Shouldn't you be at the gallery? Preparing? They said no. I guess the gallery owner does that part then, getting the paintings framed, hung on the walls, and whatnot. So why are you here? Felt like it. The same old stupid pattern emerges again. Me asking her questions, to which she replies with answers that don't answer anything, because it's the only other way we can converse. Apart from me listening to her babbling about whatever, which isn't really a conversation. Is this a play? Are there some unseen roles that we have unknowingly set ourselves into, dictating the rules of engagement whenever we see each other, inevitably leading us to hurting each other? Her nonchalant answers, accompanied by her even more nonchalant shrugs, leave me none the wiser. I guess I should be happy the exhibition preparations are complete. When I walk into my room, I hear footsteps following me in. I didn't invite her in. I won't ask her to leave. She claims my bed without asking permission, making me wish that I had taken the time to make it before I left in the morning. And then stands up again as though she sat on hot coals. I half lean against the single corner of my desktop that isn't cluttered with stuff, so to rest my legs at least a little bit. Rin spends a few moments glancing curiously around my room. Makes her realize that she's never seen it before. For a moment, she actually looks like she's concentrating, trying to get everything. This must be the eye for detail that makes her an artist. Since the room is small, she quickly runs out of things to look at, but nothing else transpires, allowing the uncomfortable silence to take over the atmosphere. The mood is so chilly, to say the least, and both of us are on guard, waiting for the other to make the first move. Of course, Rin could play this game forever, so it has to be me. So, I give up because she never tried to open conversation, and because it seems that she wants me to say something, and I want to get it over with. Why else would she be here? She didn't want to talk. I don't know what to say myself. I want to be angry, but I can't bring myself to yell at her or anything. My voice catches her attention, and she tries to search her words as well, but it seems that she is not entirely certain as to why she's here either. And so Rin simply takes a few steps to close the distance between us, and rises on the tips of her toes to even out the height difference. It was a bad idea. Maybe you should forget about it, and I will too. It's a reflex, and almost as an afterthought, the words no, yes, and maybe simultaneously surface inside my mind. My hand is between her lips and mine, a wall that I rise to guard against something. Her breath feels warm against my fingers. The scent of her skin lingers about. The mysterious, indescribable sensation that captures me and draws my eyes deep into hers. The look in her eyes is surprised, quizzical as to why the impertinent hand prevented her advances. Her eyes are really big and glistening with moisture and staring right into my own with a soft gaze that I'm having a hard time to match. Rin's half-open mouth makes her look even more confused, although the sensual way her lips are arcing is signaling something completely different. Please. I need you. The words coming from her throat as a coarse whisper meant only for me, bypassing her tongue and teeth without giving them any chance to interpret. They sober me in an instant, and I clumsily flinch back to get a little bit of distance between us, painfully scraping against my desk in the process. Maybe it's her choice of words, maybe the way she says it, but something in it puts me off. Something is wrong. Something is terribly wrong again. Need me for what? All the unpleasant feelings emerge again, and I feel my heartbeat suddenly increasing at least tenfold. Rin's eyes go out of focus and back again as her body relaxes from its tense state as she stands upright again. I don't think I was thinking about anything. Why do you draw patterns in that dust on your night table? There's a word for that kind of thing, but I can't remember. Her remark almost throws me off track, and I glance over her shoulder at the small table next to my bed, but I can't see anything from this distance. So she needs me for nothing specific? Just happened to come by because she thought I'd be glad to see her after she shut me out? No complaints accepted for a week? Completely altruistic motives? Felt like it? Bullcrap. I can answer myself. To play mind games with whenever you want, to kiss whenever you want, to ignore whenever you want, to fulfill your whims whenever you want. Is that it? What you need me for? My voice is sounding very angry again, even to myself. Good. Rin 2 finally catches the mood, and her curious expression changes instantly to something more uncharacteristic. No. She leaves it at that, her eyes restlessly wandering around, searching the room as if the words she's trying to find were written in the tapestries of my walls. Then what? I needed to paint. Paint. Of course, that's what artists do. The words reverberate through my being, beating in my blood over the piercing whistle of my anger. Oh no. Don't give me that, Rin. I'm not some damn muse of yours, free to play with for the sake of painting. I'm not some medium for whatever you aspire to. I'm me. So what if I don't know anything about my future? There's things I want and things I care about. Even I can dream of things other than nightmares. I'm yelling, but I'm way past the point of caring about things like that. Rin looks down at her toes and wiggles them a little melancholically while she takes in my outburst without saying anything to defend herself. Only after I finished does she try to respond somehow. I can't do anything else. Or I can do all sorts of things, but I can't do. It's the only thing I sort of do properly, most of the time. I understand completely. Art first, everything else second, or thousandth. What about me? Am I nothing? When I was interested in art, did that make you feel like I was a little interesting for a little while? Tell me, I really want to know. Did you ever think about my perspective, or is it just all you? The words rise like bile in my throat. She looks alarmed, and also completely uncomprehending, as if she doesn't understand what I'm angry about. I can't believe she could be so stupid. Oh, I don't like where this is going. I didn't want to? This time, it's Rin who interrupts herself in mid-sentence. Don't you understand? I can't. Can't what? You never explain. How am I supposed to understand anything if you never say anything? Why don't you ever talk? Say something! But she doesn't. Venting my anger at her feels satisfying. It feels wrong to take so much satisfaction in it, but I can't stop. Not wanting to face my anger head on, Rin turns around to steadfastly look out at my window, even though there's nothing to look at. The worst of my anger gone, I shut up as I can't be bothered to keep on yelling at the back of her head, so silence finally returns. I try to discern some hints of her reaction through my adrenaline-distorted vision. My feedback was not the best kind, but I hope Rin got the clue that she can't just ignore everything else whenever she feels like it. I'd hate it if she didn't. She never even listens to anything. She's so unaffected by the world around her. Not this time, it seems. Her body is shaking like from holding back tears, but I already know that Rin is not crying. Her indifference makes me so furious. Now that it's gone, I'm at a loss. I wonder, did I go too far? Look, Go away. Go away, Hisao. Her voice is tiny and tired as she says this, but I hear the words clear as day. What is there to say anymore? This is my room. The blunt, hollow remark is a fitting conclusion for this unpleasant discussion that became an even more unpleasant and very one-sided yelling match. After a moment of collecting herself, Rin just gives up. I can see it from the way she slumps her shoulders and walks out. Even though she deliberately looks to the other direction, I can see how she's biting the corner of her lip so hard it might start bleeding if she won't stop. As she makes her exit, I realize that she left the door open when she came in, and my yelling must have echoed around the dorm hallways. I sigh. Now that she's gone, I'm left alone with my guilt. As the thumping in my chest slowly subdues, anxiety replaces it. Somehow I feel that none of this would have ever happened if not for me. No matter how infuriating, unbearable, and outrageous Rin is, she's not the Rin I thought I knew. The Rin that I expected Rin to be. Was it me who caused all this by talking Rin into taking her chances with the exhibition? Am I directly responsible for Rin becoming like she has been for the last weeks? I can't think of any other explanation for her weird behavior in the exhibition and all the things that came along with it. Maybe it was the only way that could have brought us closer, but all it did was separate us further away from each other and now beyond the reach of either of us. Bang my head hard against the wall. Twice to make sure it hurts. Okay, please don't do that. I'm very scared of conflict. Oh my goodness.